This is a video tutorial on how to make Asiago cheese bread, and this is what it looks like on the inside. It's got lovely, delicious cheese pockets on the inside and a like cheesy crust on the top. It's very good. So this is what this tutorial is for. To get started, we're going to have a big bowl, and we're going to take a cup and a half of the bread flour and go ahead and put it in the bowl.
This is a half cup measuring.
And then we're taking the equivalent of 1 package of yeast. If you're measuring it out, it's 2 1/4 teaspoons.
Go ahead and add that into the bowl. And then we're going to do
Teaspoon of sugar. So we'll go ahead and add that. So we're going to mix those ingredients together. Take a 1 1/4 cups of water, very warm water. It should be about 120 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. So okay, it's slowing down, so that means it's going to stay between 120 and 130. So we're going to go ahead and add that. And then we're going to beat with an electric mixer on low speed for about a minute, just to get it nice and mixed, scraping the bowl frequently. Then we're going to cover it for about an hour. You can use plastic wrap if you prefer, but I'm just going to use a towel. I'm going to let that rise for an hour or until it is bubbly. Alright, let's uncover it. It's been an hour and you can see it's quite bubbly. So we're ready to move on with the recipe. Okay, now we add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Teaspoons of dried rosemary, or you can do dried thyme leaves if you prefer. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of flax seeds. You can do flaxseed meal if you don't like the seeds, but I like the seeds. So. And that's just to add some extra nutritional benefit to. A teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to stir that around really quick. And then we're going to add enough remaining flour till we get a nice smooth dough going. The flour, this is bread flour, and we already did a 1 1/2 cups, and it's 3 1/2 to 3 3/4 cups in total. So we have about 2 cups to add right now. So here we got a 1/2 cup. And then a whole cup. And there we are, 2 cups that we added, so that equals 3 1/2 cups. And we're just going to stir it around. And if you're having trouble like me of getting the last bit up, you can always just wet your hands. So I've wet my hands and then I'm just gonna, so it just adds a little bit more moisture, but nothing significant to change the recipe. Just to get the last bit of dough to come together. Okay, and we're gonna let that rest for 15 minutes. Now we're going to knead the dough on a smooth surface that's lightly floured for 5 to 10 minutes, or until the dough is smooth and springy. So continue this until the dough is smooth and springy. Just this kneading motion, turning a little eighth of a turn, pressing into it. So I finished kneading it and you can see it's smooth and springy there. So, okay, now we need to cut up our brick of Asiago cheese. So we've got our Asiago cheese right there. And we're gonna cut it into, we're just going to dice it. So, and you want the pieces to be about this big. And then we're going to knead in a cup of the cheese with the dough. Cup of cheese in here with the dough. And I'm going to go ahead and knead that together. And you'll get the pieces of cheese popping out. Just stick them back in and keep kneading. And just till they're well formed together. All right. Stick that in there. So we got the dough and then we're going to place it in a greased bowl. I'm going to grease the bowl with some olive oil. Just get all the sides going. And you're going to turn the dough so all the sides get some olive oil on them. And you're just going to cover that and let it rise for 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, now it's doubled in size and an indentation remains when we touch it. So we're going to put it on a lightly floured surface. And we're going to shape it into like a football shape. That's about 12 inches long or so. Kind of press it, stretch it to be about 12 inches in like a football shape. So there we go. Now you can either grease your cookie sheet or you can just put some parchment paper on it. So we got our parchment paper on there, and we're just going to put this on to the cookie sheet. And then we're going to just sprinkle some flour on top. Sprinkle some flour. And then we're going to cover it again. And we're going to let it rise for about 45 minutes to an hour again. Okay, so let's check it. And it's almost doubled in size. So we have the oven preheating at 450, and inside we've got a baking pan on the bottom with some water in it, about 1/2 inch high. And then we're gonna take a serrated knife and we're just gonna cut right down the middle here. The rest of the cheese into that gash. All right. And then we're gonna bake it at 450 for 10 minutes, and then we'll reduce the time, or reduce the temperature to 400 and bake for another 20 to 25 minutes. Alright, we baked it for about 18 minutes, and it's this dark golden brown color right here. So it's pretty much ready, and we're just going to transfer it to a cooling rack. So we're going to go ahead and transfer it to this wire cooling rack. So there we go, we got our Asiago cheese bread. And it is on the cooling rack to cool down. That's how you make it. It's absolutely delicious. And this is what it looks like on the inside. It's got these nice cheese pockets right here and some cheese crust on the top. It's very delicious. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.